What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us on episode 13.
Oh, shit.
Yes, of the Ethereal Podcast. I feel like every time we say the number, we're like, woo!
I know, every time everyone else is probably just like, yeah.
Like, yeah, guys.
Number
That's
13.
what 13 comes after 12. Yep. All right.
Forgetting.
I don't know. But today we're going to go a little off script. We don't have like a solid topic. You know, both of us have kind of been going through.
It's been a week.
You know,
It's been a time.
that blood lunar eclipse moon in Scorpio.
Yeah, I was like, there's so much astrologically going on at one time.
Right.
That was uncalled for.
It's supposed to be like you're purging all of the things that no longer serve you.
Mm-hmm.
And Scorpio is literally the sign of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, the universe came in swinging this week for a lot of people.
It's always really nice after, but when have you ever purged anything and felt like, wow, this feels great during?
No, never.
Absolutely never.
That's like saying it feels good while you're throwing up.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm saying, like, it's just you can't. You're just like, no, it's shit. It feels like I've been nonstop puking for the past week.
You're like, yeah, this person.
Yeah.
Like, well, sorry, I don't equate purging with throwing up.
Oh, I guess it's because when I think of the word purging, I think of purging from your body whenever you do, like, ayahuasca or something, like, before. Or any type of psychedelic, like, your body will purge itself. That usually is either down below or puking. So.
One end or the other.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like, so that's why my brain is like, purging? That's it.
Well, yeah. Well, then we've just been purging.
It's been a purge.
Throwing up all of these old things. For me, I feel like a big thing with me is, like, TV. Usually I love to watch my TV shows, and it's, like, part of my relaxation. But I think the universe is like, dude, watching TV, you've been doing that for, like, your entire life. Maybe you should just, like, stop watching TV for a couple of hours a day, every day, and do something a little more productive. And so every show I've tried to watch, recently, whether it's, like, really good or not, I'm like, I find myself bored.
I've been struggling with a lot of different shows, too, where I'm like,
I literally rather play on my phone.
Yeah.
And, like, talk to someone or
literally,
like, research something. I'm like, what?
I just don't really have much interest in sitting and watching. It's like, I want to. Like, there's a part of me that has always done that wants to find another show that I can watch and binge and be obsessed with. Because it's just how I've always done it and how I usually like to do it. But recently, it's like everything's just, like, no interest. Even things that I was interested in and I watched some of and I just never finished, I'll go back and I'm like, no interest at all. This sucks. Like, it's awful. Like, what happened?
Literally. I'll put on background shows, and I've been, like, I finally finished making my crystal mirror, so I've been doing some more arts and crafts, yes. I have to hang it up. It's heavy as hell. If y'all make a crystal mirror, I advise you make, like, a small one, because when you put all the crystals on there, it's going to weigh, like, 10 pounds. And I'm not sure how I'm going to hang that on the wall without it falling down.
That's fair. So. I want to get one of those big, like, body length mirrors and, like, have it, like, not actually against the wall, just, like, propped up against it kind of thing, and have one of those where it's, like, a bunch of crystals. But
that would be cool.
That's my little affirmation mirror that I want. I saw that a while ago. You always, this is what I've learned. This is the pattern. I see something I want to do. I don't do it, and then you see it, and you immediately do it, and then I go, damn, I really should have did that. Every time. And
the
I'm just
ADHD in me is
like, wow, impulsive. I wish I had that drive, because
it's not drive. I truly think it's just like the dopamine gets created and I'm immediately
like, I gotta jump into it. That's fair.
Realizing I have ADHD has been actually groundbreaking for me, because I'm like literally I don't know, I read a thing about how you want to do something, but the chemicals in your brain with ADHD, it's actually not firing the dopamine that tells you to go do that thing that literally makes your body do it. So it's like, for example, I have this email from Brittany that I have left open and unread for, like, the past, I think it's been almost a week now, and I really, really want to read the information in it, but every time I think about it, I'm like, I can't get myself used to it. Even if I'm just sitting there on my phone, I'm like, no, I'll look at it later.
This is the perfect time. Nah.
And it's literally on like ADHD. It's her abnormal psychology class. And it's
well, that's 100% like why it's even harder. That's what I've learned. Anytime it's something where I'm like, I'm actually gonna learn something about me. Holy shit, it's so much harder to do. Where I'm just like,
how that is.
I don't know. There's a lot of I have a lot of theory about that, but like,
when you feel resistance, it's usually because you need to do it.
When the first time I watched something about DID, I was like, I don't know, something about that made me real uncomfortable to watch. I don't want to watch about it anymore. I don't want to learn nothing about this. This is too much for me.
You said it hit home.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. It made me uncomfortable because of that. Whereas I was just like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to learn about this one. Maybe it makes me feel weird.
Maybe a different mental.
Yeah, like maybe another one.
That's funny.
It is something.
Well, I guess we can let them know like what we've been doing to make ourselves feel better and also help this purging process. Because obviously you feel this kind of way and you don't want to just push that feeling off right immediately. You want to let yourself feel it, let it take up the space that it needs, process it, and then let it go the proper way. So I mean, I've definitely been encouraging it to all flow like a river, and I know the conversation we had yesterday, you are too. Because
it's like, I spent a long time, obviously, trying to avoid them and be like, oh, I'll feel that later, and just never came. And then eventually I was like, this doesn't work. So I try to let myself feel it.
And you're miserable until you do.
Yes. Because if I know that I feel depressed about something that just happened, like I feel really sad about something that happened, like this past week, car issues. Now without a drivable car for the second, no job for the second because the DoorDash used the car.
I had to pack up green screen and everything, come to shave just house today to film. That was fun.
So that was that. When I tried to not feel sad about it when it first happened, it made me even more chaotic because I was like, I knew it was inside of me that I felt all these different emotions, but I did not want to feel them because it was so overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But then it just became more overwhelming. Because obviously I wasn't like feeling it. And so that's when I was just like, I'm just going to let myself feel it and just rock with it. And it's a journey. But once you feel the emotions, once you feel each one, like each one feels like, oh, okay, like they've acknowledged me, they know who I am, like they've made comfortable with me. It's like they don't scream at you anymore, so you might still feel it, but you can start to
navigate.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to navigate because then you start going, okay, I know everything that's there. Nothing is a surprise anymore. I know all the emotions I've already encountered. They're all there. So let me see what else is like there in this like navigation. That's when you can slowly start to figure it out. But you have to let that go through the whole process.
Right. Process it, and you can go back at the situation with a clear, level-headed mind because you're not feeling all of these heightened emotional states. And yeah, I mean, we know we've talked plenty about feeling your feelings and
feeling the feels.
That's kind of just how you have to get through those tough emotional times where, I don't know, like, I used to be so afraid of feeling things, and I thought that I had to not feel them and, like, be the bigger person about things and whatever, and like
no, this is, I just thought,
and that just made me feel like that just shoved all of my rage and anger down. And then I was like, dude, I got some serious anger issues now because like I have so many different triggers that I've built up over time over these little situations, and it's like, dude, go find all the eggs you buried and deal with them, cook them, do whatever. Like, quit hiding the eggs. Quit hiding your eggs.
Make some scrambled eggs real quick. A little bit of scrambled eggs.
Scramble them up, fry them, do whatever you gotta do, eat them, let them take up their space, and then let them leave.
Yeah, like food.
Great analogy. I don't know.
Oh, no.
What about, like, energetic releases, somatic healing kind of stuff? Have you done any of that?
Oh my god. So I've been doing a lot of, I've been seeing, this for a while now, I've been seeing on the TikTok channel the people being like, different parts of your body that hold different trauma and different like emotion. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. So I'm not lying to you. I got down on the ground. I was doing one where you have to, like, you're laying on your back and you're rocking your hips side to side.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a while, and I was just like, okay, this feels nice. Like, I did that earlier, and, like, literally turns out I got, like, a pop, like, an adjustment. It felt amazing. But, like, the first time the first time I did it, it felt nice, like a stretch, but nothing really happened. The second time I did it, though, Sam was in the shower, I was on the ground right here, and all of a sudden, this, like, it was the first time that pop happened. And when that happened, all of a sudden, I started sobbing about people that had wronged me in the past, from, like, when I was 11, and then, like, when I was, like, 23. So I'm like, I was like, whoa, and I was, like, feeling it, like, intensely, and I was like, whoa, and I just remember getting this, like, feeling, this thought of being like, this is what you didn't let yourself feel every time. Because, like, with one of the scenarios, it was, it was someone I was, like, sleeping around with for a little bit. Every single time, I wouldn't let myself feel sad on the way home, even though what had happened. And so I would make myself listen to music and be in a good mood. So all of a sudden I felt all of that, all those car rides, refusing to feel like how it really made me feel. And I felt all of it. And it was so intense. And I was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just, like, really feeling this for some reason. And, like, after, like, I cried and I let it out, like, I was just sitting there and I was, like, doing, like, a little, like, roll, like, to kind of, like, do all that. And then it just, like, genuinely, like, specifically with, like, sexual things, mentally, my mind is so much better involving them. Like,
oh yeah,
it was like, it was very interesting. Like, just the comfortability with myself, like, normal. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that there was this level of discomfort with me and myself, because I didn't realize it until I felt that. And then afterwards, I was like, oh my god. Yeah. I was like, whoa, that was something. So, like, I've been trying to do stuff like that. A lot of, like, hip things. That one.
People think it's crazy.
They do, and I thought it was too.
When you talk about it, I thought it was too. I thought breathing exercises were crazy,
but like, shit.
But like, that's boring, and I'm like,
and so is
I can understand thinking that before I understand the power of them, or understood the power of them.
Yeah, I like breathing, like, methods specifically. I never understood. Like, I never saw how they could work. Because, like, exercises, I didn't think they would help my trauma. But I was like, okay, I can see how they make me feel more loose. That can make me feel better. So you're, like, more stretched. But, oh my god, I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I'll pick back up. People sometimes, when you tell them about, like, energy being trapped in the body and certain things, they're like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, it's real. There is science backing it, I'm sure.
Literally, there is.
There is. Like, if you're a science person and you don't believe all this spiritual woo-woo stuff.
That's how I got into spiritual woo-woo, with science. I was like,
they go hand in
believe
hand.
In science.
Like,
they are cut from the same cloth.
Right.
They are the same thing. They were the exact same. They're both of each other.
If you go look at a bunch of religions, there's not much science backed in most of them. But if you look at anything spiritual, in, like, this, I guess, new age spirituality, is what you could call it.
Yeah, because new age spirituality is really where people are trying to combine the science and the spirituality. I guess because everyone kind of realized that a lot of people got into this headspace of, like, if I can't scientifically prove it, it's not real.
Yeah, when I was younger, I thought that science was, like, evil.
Because of the church, I was like,
because of the church,
the science lies. And then once I left the church, I was like,
the science lies. And then once they really had us delusional.
I know,
delusional.
I was like, scientists don't know what they're talking about. They're just having fun, Jesus.
Anyways,
but then after that, it became very sciencey, where I was just like, if it doesn't have a science backing, I don't fucking believe it. And then I fell into the bracket of, like, spiritual, like scientific spiritualist. That's what I call it. Because it's more spiritualist than scientist for me now. When it used to be more of, like, a spiritual scientist, I was really sciencey. Now it's like, I like the science to back it, but I'm actually more spiritual now, just because I've kind of, like, learned that once you learn some of the basics in science, a lot of other things, you can kind of be like, well, this obviously does this because that's how this works. Right. And so you kind of start, like, you don't have to have the current science to back everything to have your beliefs. So it's just, like, it's interesting to, like, come up with what you believe and, like, be like, huh.
And there's a lot of science backing up breath work.
Yeah.
There's certain breathing techniques and exercises where there's this one guy, Believe in Your Breath, and he's got this certain like technique and routine that he's
Is that the guy
done a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna do a session with him. It's like a 2-hour transformational healing session. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be epic. But so with his, and don't quote me on this because it's not gonna be exactly the science because I am not a sciencey person. Terminology, all that. So, but what it does is it activates and allows you to access and open up the amygdala, which is what stores all of your trauma.
That good part.
And all that stuff. So it literally opens up the Pandora's box so you can start doing these breathing exercises and then all of a sudden, dude, you're feeling some trauma from when you were 12, 11, 17. Like, what?
I've cried over things, doing like breath work things, and I'm like,
I start getting flashbacks, and I'm like,
I didn't even know that. Some things just like I literally didn't even know that happened, or it was like I didn't even know that affected me that much. Like I thought it was just nothing, and I'm like, oh my god, that still is infecting my thought process to this day. That's so weird.
Yes. Like, but then once you cry and you feel that feeling, it like, goes away.
Yeah, you're like,
it literally just disappears, and I am not lying to y'all. If you truly feel it and give it the space that it deserves, it goes away.
Yeah, because when people... I'm sorry.
It might not be just immediate go away. You might have to, maybe in levels, do it 2 or 3 times if it's something really, really heavy and deep. But it will go away if you have those energetic releases and you do those proper breathing techniques, exercises, somatic healing, whatever.
Oh, I was going to say, bounce off of that was just that people, I feel like, have this theory where they kind of get lost in being like feeling and thoughts are totally different, right? So you have your feelings, and you can feel those, and eventually they'll go away. Like you're going to eventually get to the point. Like there's so many things where something bad happened to you, but you can talk about it, and it doesn't make you upset. It doesn't make you angry. You can just talk about it easily because you've already felt everything you had to feel about that experience. That experience felt totally recognized, totally viewed at, and taken care of. So it's like. Everything.
Or you're completely numb to it.
Yeah.
Just haven't felt any of it. Well, because there's people that can sit there and talk about their trauma and like joke about it and they're just like, yeah, haha. It's like, dude, that's stored deep.
And I'm like, have you ever
thought
about that or you journaled about it? And you're like, I talk about it all the time. Haha.
Yeah.
That is the hard
and I definitely used to do that, so like no hate at all.
I used to do that. Sometimes I still do it until I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I definitely still make jokes about certain traumas. I watched this TikTok and I had a full breakdown. It was the one I posted on my story and it was like my mom worshiping in church right after she just slapped me in the parking lot for misbehaving and she's like, smile.
And she's like, and then she's like,
yeah, she's just doing this, and the kids in the back like, I literally want to die. Why am I not loved?
Yeah,
like feeling all these horrible things, like whatever. Shit. Yeah, and I cannot tell you how many of those like memories I have,
flash.
And maybe even not all of the hitting part. Maybe not all of that so much. Because, I mean, I definitely did get slapped across the face several times as a kid, and I got hit with a belt. But just, like, not being happy and having, like, not a happy home life, or I just got in trouble, or just gotten whatever in a fight with someone, and then going to church and just pretending like it's all happy.
You're, like, a great, like
pretending I'm happy, and, like, it's like, dude, I was never happy. Like, I was always, I don't know.
I've always been very against that. Like, I guess your mom was probably the same way. Mom's not as bad with it now, but whenever I was younger, she very much cared about how she looked to other people. You know, like I put a fake lip ring in my lip and a nose ring on my MySpace with a black light, and I thought it was so fucking cool. My mom made me delete it immediately. She was like, "People are gonna think I'll let you pierce yourself." I was like 13. She flipped. She went to church, and I was just like, "What?" Couldn't
people at the church are gonna see my MySpace.
And it was like hair and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, and it's just the problem I have is like people that care too much about how they're perceived. Like you have to care some, but when you care too much, the problem is every single person perceives you differently. So if you're trying to control how you're being perceived, you're split
into these little bitty different pieces.
Yeah,
but off that note of people at church seeing your MySpace, My mom's friend actually did find my Twitter one day and sent it to her, and there was a bunch of shit. I was not out the closet yet, and there was definitely gay stuff. My sister, Gabby, if you're watching this, you came in clutch because she was like, Mom, those are song lyrics. And Googled what I had tweeted and found a random song.
Yes.
She was like, Mom, that's a song. She didn't go do Molly. I definitely did Molly that weekend. That was the first time I ever did Molly.
She said, no, this is Papa Molly, I'm sweating. That's a song.
So she definitely covered for me on that. But that was a terrifying moment when she found my Twitter.
I can't imagine. My mom found my Instagram was, oh my god, this is a memory I forgot about, and I'm coming out right now. Freshman year, I had my old Twitter, Instagram, and it still tells Brittany to follow it all the time, and I hate it. She sent me the other day at the screenshot where she was like, I love that this phone keeps wanting me to follow your old Instagram. So cringy. But I had it, and I used to do this back when I was in high school, a freshman. So I used to do like Woman Crush Wednesday and like Man Crush Monday.
I used to do that.
Yes. Well, I used to always do it with celebrities because, you know me. So, anyways, I remember I did like Woman Crush Wednesday, and I had this like girl and some singer, very obsessed with her, and I posted her a few times.
Mm-hmm. And
my mother found my Instagram, and I didn't know until she made a comment out loud to me of, why do you post that you have a crush on a girl? I made a new Instagram. Under an alias. She never had that shit again.
Traumatizing.
It traumatized me. I was like,
traumatizing.
Because at that point, like, I knew that I was into anyone, but like, it was this is years before Britney ever came out. So this is like, way, I was like, I said, oh, that's just a thing that people do. Like, you know, it's just funny. She's a celebrity. I was like, it ain't nothing that deep.
You knew you liked women at that point?
Yeah!
Oh my god.
Like, and I just realized like 2 years prior to this. So I was like,
yes.
I was like, no. I was like, never ever. So I made a new account, and that's when it changed to like Kitten Goes Roar. Because I didn't want my mom to have my other one.
I've seen that. Okay, yeah, I've seen that. I know what
you're talking about. I didn't want my mom to have it.
My mom, one time, because we all shared a Netflix account as a family,
no.
I had been watching the L Word, and I was like 14 or 15, and she was like in the car alone one day. We were driving. Everything always happened in the car, and then I don't know, all the conversations. And
cars are traumatic.
They are.
I've had a lot of trouble.
I was like, why are cars my safe space now too, though?
They became my safe space. My therapist told me, because I had a lot of anxiety with cars, not just about like getting in a wreck with a car. Like that happened after I got in an almost wreck, but just I had a lot of anxiety in cars. My mind would race.
Mm-hmm. My mom confronted me and she was like, "Have you been watching the L Word?" And I was like, "What? What is that?" Yeah, I played it off so good. I was like, no, I gave one of my friends our Netflix account, I guess.
Yeah.
But I stayed up all night and watched the first seain in one night.
See,
when I discovered that show.
Netflix, family, oh God, no, you're not that, we're like the same age, right?
Yes, you're only a couple of months older than me.
I don't remember our family. So where my dad having one? Maybe it was after the divorce, that's why. Anyways, but my problem I had with Netflix was that I always would get free trials and then cancel after free trial because I always watched things that was like too inappropriate for me, and because it was always like the really raunchy movies,
right.
And so that was my issue, like because if they would have found out, I would have got my ass beat.
Yeah,
but they found me with pornography, so I did get my ass beat many times. Stupid.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
My bangs look a mess. Floofy.
Well, you know, I can't believe.
Water?
Yes, please.
I just realized this whole time I've just been like sipping it and you didn't have a water.
I realized that about like 2 minutes ago. I was like, damn, I didn't get a water. I do have water. It's over there. I just don't feel like getting it.
Oh, that's fair. You want me to get it?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. But so circling back to the very beginning of like this whole purging and the eclipse and just feeling your feelings. I've been doing the microdosing still, and like it's just helped everything flow so freely. I don't fight or resist anything. We've been watching these little Disney movies too. those are the only things that I can get into are these cute little Disney movies.
That's fair. And
it's just so lighthearted. They have good messages.
That's what I'm saying, because like, you're programming early kids, so this Disney really does do good. Like they have some really good messages stuck in their stuff. It's cute.
We watched this little like Ron's Gone. I don't know. It's like this little robot one, and they have these little robot B-bots, and they're made for kids to be their friends, but it's really just like a social media kind of thing. And so all the kids are actually lonely, but like this one little kid, I don't want to spoil it, but it was adorable, and
I've never heard of it.
I cried like 3 times.
I cry a lot of Disney films. I cry a lot of everything.
Like, but normally, like I'd be like, fight it, and my throat would be choking up. There's no reason to
fight it though.
That's what the shrooms are like. Hey, why are you fighting this? Because when you were younger, or at some point in your life, someone was like, "Why are you crying? Oh my God, you're crying." Yes. And what? What are you gonna say about it?
I used to try to hold it in when I was little.
My throat literally hurts.
I would try to hold it in because my dad always talked about how I was really sensitive and I always cried at movies, and I felt even the times where he didn't say it in like a negative tone, I took it very negatively. So I was like, this is bad. I shouldn't do this because this is a bad thing that I'm so sensitive. And so I would try to like hold it in, and then I don't remember what point where I was just like, I started crying. I started crying, and I felt this like resistance at first, and I was like, why do you feel resistance? And it's like because of that memory of like my dad or someone seeing me crying and thinking, oh, look how sensitive that is. And I was just like, who's watching me right now? And if they have a problem with it, they can go.
Yeah.
Like I'm in my comfort right now, and if I feel comfortable and safe enough to cry, I'm comfortable and safe enough to cry. Anyone else can't suck that.
Exactly.
Such a weird.
Me and Brittany will look at each other and we're like, it got me, and we'll both have tears streaming down our face. Like,
Sam will literally look over at me because he just knows. He just knows. He'll look over, and I'm like,
Brittany knows too. Yep. And she'll cry with me about half the time, but there is definitely 50% of the time where I'm crying and she's not.
I watched this. Me and Sam turned on this movie the other day. It's like this Korean movie, and let me just say, Korean movies really are always fucking top notch. Because just like their cinematography is so amazing. How they do this, it's so great. But watch this one. It was like #alive, and he turned on because it was supposed to be. It's like this like zombie movie or whatever. He wanted some like wild zombie shit. I didn't want that, but I was like, I ain't really gonna pay attention anyways. But then they caught me because it was a good story. It was a good story. Like there was some zombie things, there was some weird shit, and there was some thoughts where you're like, oh, it's a zombie movie. Like there's like, hey, let me cut off their head, whatever. Right. But it was pretty spaced out. It really was the story of this guy who gets trapped in his apartment. Like he's in his apartment, like where his family, but his family had left to go get groceries. And while he's home, this outbreak happens and he gets stuck in the house. He can't contact his like family. He's by himself and he doesn't know what to do. And so you're following him all these days and weeks. And it was so fucking good. And during it, I remember being like, there's some parts I was sagging. I got little tears coming down my eye. And I was like, when that movie ended, as soon as the credits were over, it hit me. I was sobbing. Sam was like, what is wrong? And I was like, that movie really did something to me. He was like, I don't understand why this movie made you feel so much. And I was like, it really was because like how, you always looking for a deeper meaning in the movies. In this movie, every single time they were on the worst brink of giving up, like going to kill themselves because they didn't see a way out of it. That moment where it could have been, they could have given up, everything changed, and the hope like really pulled things. And it was like this, like I was just like, they were on like the worst possible things that they pulled through.
And that related to
yes. I was like
how you feel in your life.
I felt like, I was like, because it was like this moment of feeling like, literally, what else is there? Like we've tried everything. What else can we even do here? And the second where you're like, dude, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like I think this is it. Like I have then something happened. You're like, what the fuck? I didn't expect that to happen.
Yep. That's hilarious. And that made me think of like a similar situation with me in movies. Like anytime there's like a really good like love plot and you have these lovers and they get together, but then something happens, they fall apart, and then they come back together. You're like, I'm sobbing. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. I relate to it so hard because that's what Brittany and I went through.
Yeah, anything I can like really relate to in a movie, my body's gonna like process part of that as if I had just went through that.
And that's what makes a good movie.
Yes,
when you're fully submerged and you can feel the feelings that they're trying to get you to feel.
Yep. I told somebody before, the best, like, my favorite movies are always going to be a movie that makes me feel pretty much all the emotions. Because if I can feel all that, like, you made me feel something. I didn't just watch something and get entertained mentally. I mentally was entertained and physically was so engaged in what I was watching.
Right.
It's a very interesting storyteller, and like just to be able to make someone like really engaged in your story.
And then you find yourself thinking about the movie like days later after, and you're like, oh.
Sometimes I create my own second movie.
Same.
Or a TV show. I've done that. I've done the spin-off TV show.
This is a little off topic. It's a lot off topic actually, but I remembered the story I wanted to tell. So I met another human that does not have the mind's eye. Yes, one of my professors, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and every time someone is like trying to explain and ask a question and they're like, okay, well, you're in guard and you're trying to do this, that, he's like, no, show me.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't.
He cannot. And I asked him one day, I was like, can you see things? And he's like, no, it's black. It's blank. And I was like, did you know, like, you're only like 3 to 5% of the population? He was like,
yep.
Whoa.
One time I had my friend.
Yeah, my co-host. It was crazy. I was so like, crazy. No way.
I love breaking to people, one, that exists, and if they accidentally are. Because there's some people where I'm like, hey, can you close your eyes? Do you see a red apple? And I try to like figure out if they can see stuff. And most of the time, everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, I can't do that. And they're like, what? And I go through the whole explanation of how that's like a thing that like, and I'm like, that's so crazy. I didn't know y'all could see things. I thought that was made up in movies.
Right.
And then I was talking to my friend Noah, and I was here one night, and I was like, close your eyes. Picture a red star. I was like, do you see one? He was like, what? And he's like, it basically was like, no, I mean, it's black. Like, there's nothing. I just know you said to look at a red star. I said, oh God, I said, I never had this honor before. I was like, you're rare. He was like, what? And I was like, most people can see shit. Isn't that crazy? I was like, he said, this is really, he said something along the lines of like, this is really a lot to take in.
You changed that man's life.
I love doing that to people.
I wonder if Zach later on was like, man, I really can't see.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it really, what makes it crazy to me is just that I can't believe it took me so many years of genuinely thinking it was made up movie bullshit that y'all could see shit. I thought we was all pretending.
He didn't know.
I thought we were all pretending to see stuff in our head.
That is hilarious.
Like this whole time.
I've been pretending.
Like I thought everyone was just like, we were closing our eyes and we were like, all right, imagine a waterfall. And we were all pretending that we were at a waterfall. I didn't know that we could see waterfalls. Like what the fuck?
This is like you said waterfall, and it's going to bring me onto a totally separate topic, but at least it kind of segues back to when we were talking about breathing exercises.
Okay.
All right. So like yesterday, I decided to take a really cold shower, and well, at first I did my thing and it was just like my regular shower. And at the end I was like, all right, let me do some Wim Hof breathing in like ice cold. And dude, I closed my eyes and like, I was like, I am out in a hot ass, like in a different country under a waterfall right now, under this cold water, but my back is facing the sun and I'm warm. And like I was doing,
you can see that?
Yes. And I was doing the breathing exercise and like at first it was cold as hell, right? But after like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 breaths, I literally felt warm. So like y'all play around with those breathing exercises. They're very, very good for you in a cold shower, but you can obviously do them anywhere, anytime as well. But the cold does something more science to it. You'd have to look it up because I don't know exactly. But it really does it. It's very good for your body physically, and it's also very good for your mental health. But I can't even describe to you how I felt after that. And I was probably only in it for like, I don't know, 5 minutes because I did 2 sets of the breathing, 2 breath holds. And I mean, by the time I let go of that second exhale or inhale hold, I must have been holding it for like 2 minutes at that point.
That's right.
Like, because I had zoned out. I was like, I'm at this waterfall. I was doing all kinds of stuff in my head. I basically like astral projected essentially. So it was wild. I know that sounds woo-woo as hell, guys, but
that just sounds
just go Google it.
Cool. I just can't wrap my head around this.
Look up Wim Hof on YouTube. But yeah, have you not done the cold shower yet?
Yes, but what I'm not being able to get over.
Oh, it's the visual.
Yes.
My bad. I was like, what are you not getting?
I'm sitting here, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, all the...
It's really cool. It really is.
Because, like, you know when people would say, like, you know, you go to, like, your happy place in your mind to get out of your, like, body. That's great that you can imagine that. Because I'm like, I feel like that would be easier to, like, focus in on, like, what you're seeing. Because that's, like, how you see stuff. Whereas, like, when my brain, like, when I close my eyes, if I'm trying to, like, not feel, like, if I got into a cold shower, when I close my eyes, what I have to tell myself is I have to go, oh, my God, it's so hot. It's so hot. This feels so good. I'm so hot.
Well, that's essentially the same thing that I was doing. I just had a visual.
Yeah, I can't see shit.
But I was like, the sun is warm as fuck on my back, and this cold water feels amazing.
Yeah, I'd be saying that there's a fire inside of my body, and the water on the outside's gotta calm it out.
Yeah.
That's about the only way.
Melting.
If I get into like a realm in my head, since there is like nothing, I just forget that everything exists. Like there's nothing. Like I forget there's a body. I forget there's anything. And then I come back to it, I'm like, oh, no, yeah, this is my life.
I feel that because when I was in that waterfall, it's like I was there. I didn't know like who Dom in the shower was.
Yeah, it's like
I was
you were
just
there
this
witnessing.
awareness,
yes,
like
you were the awareness only. It's really true because like then when you come back, like it's like slowly come back to your body, and you're like slowly come, and you're like, huh. You're like, what does this feel like? Huh.
Okay.
Huh. You like open your eyes, you're like, that's what it looks like in here. Like a full memory, like recall back. But then again, I do have object permanence, so I probably do forget what the shit looks like when my eyes are closed too long.
That's hilarious because I can't, like, I physically cannot remember or can't forget what things like look like.
That's amazing.
A lot of the time because, I mean, of course, small things, but if it's anything remotely significant, like even if it's not faces, I'm very good with faces, but yeah, I don't know. That thought just flew out the window.
I watched as it just went.
I was like,
he was like,
yeah, you're gonna take over, Chief.
Yeah, memory. Mine shit. Here's how my memory works this way. I live without most memories consciously until something triggers it or I'm asked. But sometimes when I'm asked things, my brain blanks all information.
It must be easy to live in the present moment, though, if that's the case.
It is. It is fair. I've learned that. So I'm like, it's fairly easy because, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I get caught up in the emotion, like, it takes a minute. But, like, once I'm done with that feeling emotion, I'll be, like, pretty decent and, like, really, and I'll forget everything. That's kind of the thing, like, the stuff, like, that I'm currently going through with the car and job. Honest to God, I forget that situation is going on most of the time. And then something reminds me, and then I'm like, oh, shit. Like, what do I do? Because, like, it's literally just, like, well, I currently can't do anything to like fix this part, so let's focus on this other stuff. Okay,
right. There's no reason to just think
so
about
it's like,
it if you can't.
It's like
really
it could be
take
beneficial. Action. It can also. I feel like
so do you get stuck in your head and dissociate sometimes? Like, does that happen to you?
Well, the idea in general is very dissociative.
Okay, that's dissociative identity disorder.
She's like, do you dissociate? That's been a weird thing this past week.
Sometimes I ask things without even thinking about it, and then I'm like, babes.
Me too. This past week, that's been something weird too. Like, I read somewhere people were talking about like how like you can have like stuff with like identity, obviously because you're going through like purging like old stuff. That's made my ID weird as fuck this past week. Weird as fuck. Because I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've jumped so fast. In like in such weird ways where I'll be like, I don't even know, and then something will make me like realize like who it is. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, why are we doing this? So I have a lot of like weird blips.
Yeah, every time you explain that to me, I'm just like, what?
Like, oh.
Are you okay? Dies.
My soul's coming out of me.
Love it. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Are you hot as fuck?
Yeah, dude. We turned the air conditioner on.
My thighs are sweating. Like, I thought I was losing my shit. I was like, what is this feeling? It's pretty hot.
Mine are sweating too. That's okay. Cool. Well, I have a few more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so. I don't even know when we were recording because this one recorded not all of it.
That's why we're going extra, because I'm like, well, if you can't hear anything in the beginning, we might as well just go a little.
How can I talk about anything cool?
We did. We talked about a lot of cool stuff. I feel like.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I don't know. I guess we could talk a little bit more about like energetic releases, somatic healings, other methods that we've done. Open palm, slapping the ground to like a song with a good beat, like a like the song Headstrong by Trapped. It's like a good, like, get you pumped up, hyped up kind of, and it's just got a good beat that you can hit the ground to. That is a good way to release like angry energy.
Yeah,
I do that. And if I get triggered by something in conversation, like an example, like old stuff that Brittany and I had gone through, and like situations that like still I have to work some stuff through with, I'm like, I'm angry right now, and I'll just start hitting the ground. I'm like, but I'm like,
let me just process this one.
Like, let me just woo. And so I smile, and I don't. It's a healthy release of anger instead of the what the fuck.
I like to I've been trying to get better at sing. I've been singing more when I get angry.
It makes it fun.
Yeah. And also sometimes, depending on what I'm angry about, if it is something stupid, I do make fun of myself.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because then it immediately breaks down. Because like if it's something stupid, you know, something like
me hammering the table earlier with a butter knife. I was trying to get the fold table to fold. It would not fold.
Does it have like a lock?
Yes, but it's very old, and so it must be like rusty, whatever. I could not get the little lock piece to shift out of the way to close the table. And I was like, I can't fit this in my car.
I mean, we made it work,
but I was like so angry at an inanimate object, and I was like, let me just take a break.
It reminds me.
Let me just chill.
One of these tables, the one that was in there, I knocked something off of it the other day, and Pat's passing, and I got so mad because it was like the third time I did that. And I turned and I was just like screaming at it. I was like, you make me knock over one more thing, one more time, you're going across the room.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that yells at animal objects.
Like, what? I was like, I'm losing my mind. I'm yelling at a fucking table. But I was just like, dude, I was so frustrated. And I didn't want to take it. I was like, I didn't have anything that I could take my anger out. So it was the table. It was the table's fault. I was about to throw that table across the room. I was mad at it. I get mad at animal objects a lot.
It's like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. Supposed to just not get mad that we keep knocking shit over. It's the table's fault for being in the way. Anyone watching this is like, oh, wow, this is actually shit.
Or they're like, yeah, fam, I do that too.
Yeah, that's either or.
It's one or the other. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to like rip up this box one time to put it in the fire, and I was like, ripping it in a really tough spot, and I was like, I'm strong as hell, but I can't rip this fucking piece of cardboard.
I was gonna get mad. You're like, I'm stronger than this.
And I was like, I looked at the cardboard, I was like, you about to piss me off? I was like, really? No, you're gonna get mad at a box? Okay. And I clowned the hell out of myself. I said, all right. It's like your higher self is clowning you. That's what I say. It's that moment when you're getting right with your higher self is like, cute. If y'all did not know this, your higher self speaks to you literally all the time, and you can hear them, and you just got to pay attention.
Your mind is an interesting realm. You just have to get to know your
mind's subconscious voice and stuff like that.
Because once you get to know your mind's realm, you can learn all the different things. You hear all the different things, and you kind of feel is the biggest thing. When it's like your higher self, it's that like feeling of like calmness and being like, this is what I need to do. If I do this right now, it's okay.
This is like, it's that intuition feeling.
Very like calm.
And it's a very confirming feeling. It's like you
don't second guess.
It's like, I know I can't explain or tell you why, but I have full faith in this. Like 100%.
It's like, I just know.
And it's like when you do a lot of breathing and exercises, you're stimulating your third eye as well, and opening up that chakra and your crown. So you're essentially parting and opening up that channel connection to source and allowing all kinds of information to download into you. When you've got that clear, level-headed, you can get more in touch with your higher self through breathing exercises for sure.
Breathing exercises are really fascinating. I recommend breathing exercises for people who like there are breathing exercise, like breathing meditations. I highly recommend for people who have a hard time starting meditations because they're like, it's hard to like sit still and just be in my mind, just listen to it. Or the breathing meditations, they always help me in those type of moments because it gives you something to focus on, and it's something that's like beneficial.
You have to focus. It's called conscious breathing for a reason because all of your awareness is on that,
and you focus on which exact things you're feeling move, and so before you know it, you're like, wow, all I've been thinking for the past 10 minutes is how the oxygen is moving in my body,
literally. And it's like when you say, I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm the breath, I'm the awareness, like it's like that is it. You are this breath of life flowing in and out, like that's all it is. We're just this energy. But like I didn't even know for most of my life until I started doing breathing exercises that you can breathe into like your chest and your lungs and then into your stomach.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Nobody like breathes deeply into their gut, and the last year is probably when I knew that because I saw a TikTok.
I started in 2019,
and that's how you reach more of the sexual energy is breathing into your stomach.
If I have like, whenever I have like a feeling, that weird anxiety feeling or just a bad feeling that you don't want in your body, I will literally just close my eyes and breathe in and then remember like I am the breath and then consciously like follow the breath to that spot.
I love it.
And just be like, relax. I'm here. Relax. I'm here until you just relax.
Yep. Oops. Feet kicked to the table a little bit. But yeah, no, that the breathing exercises really will bring you into your body, ground you, focus you, relax you. I mean, and you will feel charged up afterwards because you've got so much oxygen flowing through your blood, flowing through your body.
There's a lot of health benefits to deep breathing. Like if you can just look it up, like even in the super science realm, forget all spiritual shit and you're just looking at the scientific aspect of deep breathing, there is genuine benefits to deep breathing that positively affect your body and like the longevity of your body and your like lung health and different things. So, and it's great for both your mind and your body, and it helps you remember that you are the one, you're like the caregiver of the two of them. You're like You're that awareness, that one that's with them.
Definitely. And I love the whole we've talked about this before, but I don't know if we've talked about it on here, the whole sharing your breath with trees kind of thing.
Dude, I'm confident that tree out there is me.
We breathe out as they breathe in and vice versa.
We are each other.
And it's like, so we are nature. Like
you are the trees around you, around your home. That's what makes up most of your like calm and like oxygen or whatever. So it's like, in theory, if you go sit outside for 24 hours, for the entire 24 hours, you're outside by that tree, you and the tree are the same because y'all are both giving each other your life energy. Right. And you're just life energy.
You're sharing that energy.
So it's like, if you remember your just life energy, it's like, whoa, like I am the trees around me and the trees around me are me. It's a very trippy like concept.
Oh, definitely. I love that conversation we had, and I had that conversation with somebody else the other day, and they believed like the same thing. And they're like, "Yeah, dude, it's like really cool to think about it."
It really is.
I was like, "It definitely is." Oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say. On the like somatic healing and energetic releases, Reiki is another really good one.
I'll say, yeah, of course.
Because you have an actual Reiki master who knows how to work with and move the energy and clearing out those chakras, helping you break up and move that stagnant, stuck energy that's just been pushed down and shoved down there for so long, because it's constantly moving, energy's constantly flowing through your body, but you've got all these blockages in all these areas, and a lot of the times if you pay attention to it, that's where you'll feel pain in your body too. So it's pretty crazy. People that have lower back pain, lots of trauma.
My back pain has genuinely gotten a lot better. My back pain,
mine is almost gone.
Like a couple years ago, my back pain on a daily basis was so bad that it was really difficult for me to do much of anything other than sitting.
Yeah,
because
you were not very mobile.
No, it was.
The less you move, the more you hurt.
Yes,
that's all I have to say. You can argue with me all you want.
It really does, because you stop moving it. And so it was like, because I was in pain, I wasn't moving, I wasn't getting better. So then I just kept getting worse. And I was in so much pain. And then as I was working with like different traumas, I started to feel that it was a little easier to move my lower back, which then made it easier for me to stretch. So then it was like, I'm dealing with this lower back pain, both on an energetic level and like on this like physical, like doing these stretches to help the energy move. Because there's like these stuck areas of the body, which like kind of brings me, you were saying about like the Reiki master. A lot of people, I feel like, I was one from the beginning, so that's why I said a lot of people, because I just assume I'm not the only one. But kind of get like, I don't know, get like where like they feel like you have to be a very specific person to learn how to do that. And the thing is that if you really were to break it down, and the thing is like, so you have to sit down and learn it. I felt very called to it. Yeah, it's like you get like you can
extremely called to it.
Oh yeah,
and it's like on a practice.
It's like it takes a lot of practice on a base level. Like everyone does it in a very low capacity. It's just because that's what we do. Oh yeah, functioning like as a magnet. So it's like everyone can do it. They just have to want to take the time, sit and learn and practice and get skills, to, and like get your skill there. But it's like everyone can do it. It's something that like you just have to take the time to do. It's not a skill that like only certain selected people can do. Like no one can tell you that you can't do it. Like you can do it. You just have to sit and like go through the training just like anyone else.
Exactly. And it's definitely a lot of practice on yourself before you do it on anybody else. But it is like, I don't know, my practice of learning it was a healing journey in itself because I had to do so many freaking sessions on myself. And I'd be like, hey babe, I'm gonna go outside and do it's called I'm gonna pronounce this wrong because it's like it's called Hatsuriho. So
not what I was expecting.
I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyways, but it's the practice of like clearing off, dry bathing, clearing off your energy, and then opening yourself up. So you focus on your tandon is what it's called, which is the energy point down, the basically where your root chakra is. I think it's in between the root and sacral. And so it's like this glowing light energy. So you're going to focus on that, and then you're going to kind of like put your arms up, prayer position, open, let the Reiki life force energy come through, channel through. Yeah.
I know that was what it's called.
And so I was doing that every session that I had to do on myself. And so I would come inside and I'd just be like sobbing, and Brittany would be like, yeah, do you have a good one? And I'd be like, I started getting flashbacks of this, that, and the other. Yeah, and I'm just like, all I'm doing is like laying here with my palms open, sitting outside, just doing some.
It's like, really trippy. Like
it's wild. So anybody that wants to like say that it's not real, this is a hill that I will die on. We can talk.
Yeah. I'm like, if you don't, it's like just give it a genuine try before saying if it's just complete bullshit.
Right.
Because I also thought it was bullshit. Until
it sounds woo-woo. I will say that all day long. The shit we do sounds crazy.
Woo-woo. But especially like in my opinion, if you really break down like with like the Reiki stuff, like it is very, very scientifically proven because we know that we're energy, we know we're energy magnets, and there are literal like in different like Asian countries, there are actual hospitals that they do that and to like break up like different things in people's lives. Like that's actual hospitals in like that's a real thing
amazing.
They do. And so
why do I not live there?
Yeah, I'm like there's actual
we're here
like,
to try and get.
Yeah, it's a process to try to move it.
That's why I was like, why the hell was I born in Louisiana? And I was like, you know what? I think I am in the spot that I'm supposed to be right now because we're helping raise the collective consciousness in this area.
That's fair. It's rough here.
We're doing our best.
But I'm saying, so it does have scientific backing to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if it didn't, it works. Like there are some things like I really wanted scientific backing for, but there are some things I believe now that they're like, oh, why do you believe it? I'm like, it worked.
Yep.
Just it worked. So if it works, I'm not going to second guess it. It fucking worked. I'm just going to be glad it worked. Exactly. I'm glad something worked. That's all that matters. As long as you find something that works for you,
right?
That's all that matters.
And if you don't have any questions, like our Twitter DMs are always open. Leave comments on the YouTube channel. Let us know if you want us to talk about anything or if you have questions about certain things. We will, if we don't know about it, we'll do the research and kind of figure that out for you and, give you our perspectives on it and the information that we know. But and if y'all have any like topic ideas that y'all want to hear us talk about, please feel free leave that in the comments.
Be fun.
We would definitely appreciate it. We have tons of stuff to talk about, but we want to hear what you guys want to hear from us as well. So lay it on us.
Throw it at us. Imagine someone just like sends like a whole like dotted list of all these different little topics.
Do you know how happy that
I would be so happy.
I would be like,
thank you.
Because like I don't know.
It's like I don't know what people want to hear.
Well, not even that. It's just like the whole reason for me that my why driving this podcast is that I just want to be able to provide any bit of like helpful information that can, whether it's a little bit of advice, whether it's, a recommendation for a breathing exercise, whatever it is, I do this to help people.
Yeah, it's like I don't just do it to hear myself talk because I don't like listening to myself talk back on the podcast. Actually, it's weird. It's like, okay, it's gotten better, but it's just like, like I'm not posting it for me. I know what I think and what I like hear, whatever. It's like for y'all. So we want to know like what things y'all have going on that y'all want.
Like, feel free to like trauma dump in the DMs. Like we will read it and we will give you our take and experiences that, might be similar or whatever.
Like if you feel like you have no one to talk to, we're always here.
Yeah.
So there's always someone.
Seriously. Messages are always open. Yeah, I'm really excited to just get this better for you guys and keep increasing quality of the production as we go on. And, thanks everybody that's been there from the start and is still with us.
Literally. It's been, when you break down the weeks, it's really crazy because you think of like, even when I break down the weeks into months, I'm just like, whoa. Because you're just saying like weeks, you don't think about how many months it's been that we've been doing this.
12 weeks, that's 4 months.
That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
Like that's crazy. Like when this one comes out, it'll be like 4 months we've been actively posting. Like that's crazy.
That's awesome. Oh,
before we know it.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us on episode 13 of our little off script kind of day.
Listening to us ramble about whatever.
Don't really know what we talked about today, guys, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. And we will see y'all next time. Love and light.